Hello there, people of the internet. So I was talking with but a young lad, and it was actually somebody who recognized me from my YouTube channel, and I was out in public just doing what I was doing, and he comes up and he's like, "Oh my God, you're the blind sniper." And I'm like, "Yeah, I sure am. Good to see you, buddy. I'm glad to see that our next generation is interested in firearms and firearm accessories and the Second Amendment and etc., etc." But while we were talking, he asked me a question, and I'm sure he's going to watch this video, but he asked me, "What is your most tactical rifle?" And I just kind of stopped, and I scratched my head, and I was like, "What? What?" Oh, I've never been asked that question before, and I never even really thought about that. Now, this was this young man, he's used to seeing firearms and whatnot in the gaze of, like, movies and pop culture and video games and whatnot. And he's probably used to games like Call of Duty and Battlefield, and I mean, they're very fun games. But in these video games, to equip something with a bunch of stuff is to be tactical, and whenever it comes to doing things like that in real life, if you over-equip your firearm, it very quickly becomes over-encumbering. It becomes far too large and bulky and clanky and heavy, and it's definitely not something that you want that you want in a real life situation. So whenever he asked, "What is my most tactical rifle?" I'm sure he wanted me to say something along the lines of this right here. This is my Delton DTI-15 in 223-556, but of course I can swap this out for whatever caliber it is that I want. Picatinny rail on top. I got myself, just a little red dot optic, bag up iron sights. I got a flashlight and I got a sling, and that's all I have on this rifle. But with the M-Lock rail system and the Picatinny rail system on this thing, I can mount whatever I want onto this thing. And I'm pretty sure that the threads on this thing are a 1/2x28, so I should be able to mount any sort of muzzle brake or whatever it is that I want onto this thing if I felt like mounting some additional things to this rifle to make it quote-unquote more tactical. I do like the fact that it has a telescoping buttstock on it, and it does have a detachable magazine. This right here is, of course, in compliance with YouTube's community guidelines, because I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube. And this right here is probably my more tactical rifle. I mean, I have shot this thing very effectively. This is my Coyote gun. I've used it quite a bit to take care of just the things that I take care of around the house. So as far as tactical guns go, quote-unquote tactical guns go, this right here is probably going to be my most tactical. However, whenever I was talking to this guy, I was trying to explain to him that to operate tactically speaking doesn't necessarily constitutes the setup of a firearm. Whenever it comes to using a particular idea, like whenever it comes to using particular tactics, it's all based around the idea of whatever set of circumstances it is that you're going to want in that particular situation. Like, whenever people say tactical, they think of accessories and whatnot, but tactical means like skill set. Tactical means capabilities. Tactical means planning. Tactical means way more than just, your particular firearm. Like, for example, if I were to take a handgun, this right here is just a standard base 1911, no rails, no bells and whistles, no thrills or anything like that. This would not be considered a tactical handgun, especially because it still has the wood grips on it. So whenever somebody sees this, they're like, "No, that's not a tactical handgun. I can't mount a red dot and flashlight and laser light and flamethrower and grenade launcher and all sorts of stuff to that. It's just a bare bones 1911. It's not tactical at all." However, if you want to achieve tactical superiority in a particular kind of situation, let's say there's a situation where something goes down and, I don't know, this hypothetical situation, somebody decides to rob a store that you are currently in, and this robber sees somebody is open carrying, and he takes that person out because that person was a perceived threat. Well, you have this right here, concealed carry, and he doesn't know that you have a firearm on you. And that gives you a tactical advantage in that particular situation, even though you have a firearm that wouldn't necessarily be considered a tactical firearm. So hopefully that right there is like probably one of the best examples that I can give. Or as another example, I mean, yeah, something like this would be just fantastic for a vast majority of your situations, but let's say you live out, in the Midwest, and you're living in the desert area, and maybe 223-556 wouldn't be ideal for you if you have to handle something because somebody might be popping shots off at you from, 1,000 yards away. and a nice small 223 5.56 cartridge might not be ideal. Maybe having yourself something like a full power rifle. My recommendation, like an AR-10 or G3 or whatever self-loading full power rifle you want. I don't have a self-loading full power rifle out here with me. I'm just going to use this 8mm Mauser as an example. But having some sort of full power rifle might be of a more tactical advantage in that sort of situation. As a matter of fact, maybe just this bolt action 8mm Mauser would be a more tactical advantage in that particular situation. Especially if the guy at those long distances is using an intermediate cartridge and he can't quite manage to put shots on target at those distances with his particular setup. Even if he is running a more modern firearm, you with your older firearm that has a more powerful cartridge that is capable of touching out to farther distances, that right there would give you the more tactical advantage, even though this right here is not a tactical rifle. Now, there are plenty of bolt-action rifles out there that are tactical rifles. They'll have like the polymer stock with the telescoping stock, and they'll have like rail systems, and they'll have optics upon optics upon optics that you can move out of the way and swap over, and red dots and LPVOs and lights and lasers and communication sometimes, and all sorts of stuff that you can mount onto your rifle. But the actual idea of using a rifle, tactically speaking, doesn't necessarily matter much whenever it comes to the actual rifle. Now, that being said, something like this right here does fit a very specific role, but it fits a specific role. You need a specific set of circumstances for that rifle right there to achieve a tactical advantage. For the most part, in most engagements and the things that are most likely going to happen in most situations, in most areas, something like this AR platform, maybe not necessarily in 223 5.56, but if you were to get yourself like an AR-10 in 308, or maybe something like this in 6.5 Grendel, or insert your choice of caliber here, but something similar to this right here would lend itself to be more tactically capable in most situations than something like this right here. There are situations where this right here would be better than this right here, assuming that we're talking about a 223 cartridge. However, in most situations, since we have rails to be able to mount whatever we want onto this thing, we have iron sights, so we can use that anytime we want. We have ourselves a red dot, so I mean, we can use that for our more precise, quicker follow-up shots. We got flashlight, but I mean, this here's just what I have on this particular rifle. If you want, any sort of grip, if you want any sort of, insert your choice of accessory here to make this thing as tactical as you want for your particular situation and your particular setup. I don't have night vision myself because I am a poor, so a white light is what I use. However, that being said, if you do have night vision, then maybe an IR light or something like that would make a good addition to your particular firearm. Or if you have a bunch of these and you have people of all sorts of shapes and sizes that are going to come and help you out with whatever situation it is that you are looking to be helped with, then having an adjustable stock like this right here would make it significantly easier for a shorter stature person or a smaller stature person, or maybe a very large person with huge pectoral muscles or huge man boobs, depending on which scenario it is that we're talking about. Maybe having a telescoping stock that will allow them to adjust their length of pull would be, a tactical advantage. Whereas something like this right here, you have one size and you have to make that work, and that is all you get. And I mean, that's all you get. Or if you have yourself a situation where maybe you are going to be going up close and personal, putting the telescoping stock down to shorten your length of pull so you can go ahead and get nice up close and personal with your firearm if you're going to be going around corners or anything like that. That might be something that could increase your tactical capabilities. So pay attention to whenever I'm talking about this. Whenever I'm talking about tactical abilities, I'm always talking about the situation, what it is that you're doing, how it is that you're going to be doing it. This right here, the reason why these are considered, quote-unquote tactical rifles are just because, what is that? My goodness gracious, what are you? Get off of my rifle. But the reason why these right here are considered quote-unquote tactical is because they can handle just a massive, massive variety of all sorts of different situations, no matter what it is that you're going to come across, no matter who it is that's going to hold the rifle, no matter what caliber it is that you're wanting to have inside of that rifle. There's just a dramatic amount of different situations where something like that could come in handy. Now, just because it is, you know, just because it looks tactical doesn't mean, well, so let's go ahead and put it like this. Some tactical rifles are more tactical than other tactical rifles. Like, for example, this AR platform right here, you know, I got some cows right there, so instead of shooting the steel, I'm just going to plant these into the car so I don't risk hitting a cow. This tactical rifle right here, quote-unquote tactical rifle right here, whenever I put 223 5.56 lead downrange, if I thought I had more ammunition inside of this magazine. If I put those rounds downrange and then something happens and I'm like, oh, okay, we have this other situation. I need myself, you know, a more hard-hitting round. I just take these two pins out, top comes off, put on a new upper. Now it's in 300 blackout, old mag out, 300 blackout ammo. Put that in there, you know, close your bolt carrier, and now you're rocking 300 blackout. So you could very much achieve different variations of tactical capabilities with a weapons platform like this right here. However, if you have something like this right here, this is just a high point carbine, nothing special in 9mm. I just so happen to have some full metal jackets in it, so I figure I may as well send some of this downrange. But this right here, to a lot of people, is a tactical, scary rifle. But this is not nearly as tactical as that AR platform there. There's no M-LOK rail systems. There's no bells and whistles on this thing. Especially in comparison to the AR system, especially because in the AR system you can swap out calibers and whatnot to achieve whatever it is that you're wanting to achieve. All you really have on this quote-unquote tactical looking firearm is you got a Picatinny rail on top so you can mount some sort of optic. You got some sort of Picatinny rail right here so you can mount some sort of grip. Picatinny rail right here under the barrel if you feel like mounting a light of some sort. No telescoping stock, no folding stock, no way to really change caliber on this thing. No, I mean, there's a lot less tactical advantage with something like this, despite the fact that somebody who doesn't know what they're looking at would look at this and assume that it is just as tactical as something like this. So that is a good example of things not being, like, some things are just more tactical than others. Let's send a few of these into the car there. Whenever I send lead into the car, instead of shooting the steel, I typically shoot up around where the engine block is. There is no engine inside of this car, it's just a shell. But there's a transmission, well, leftover remains of a transmission in that. And sometimes that's fun to hit with full power rifle cartridges or handgun cartridges or shotgun shells or whatever it is I have. Speaking of what I have, what else do I have here? I have some, this is Turkish 8mm Mauser. I may as well run some of this through my Yugoslavian 2447, which is what I have right here. There are some situations where something like this would prove to be a better tactical advantage than a intermediate 223 5.56 cartridge firing gun, or God, I dropped my round, a 9mm PCC. Like, I'd rather take this right here for a better tactical advantage if I'm shooting at, you know, 600 yards across my field than that little 9mm high point there. So speaking of shooting, let's send some of these rounds downrange. Right behind the leftover remains of what used to be a TV there is the rim of the car, and I am kind of aiming for that general area, and I imagine that I am absolutely just destroying that whole spot. Look at all the smoke and crap coming out of there. That's awesome, dude. All right. Well, let me know what you guys think down below. This was a video I was not expecting to make, just to describe the tactical nature of some stuff, and I won't lie, it was fun. I had fun with this one. So, thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below. Link to all sorts of stuff. Go ahead and go check that out. That being said, you guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day. I will see you guys on the next episode. I'm going to go actually move some of this stuff inside because I got all sorts of stuff out here. I got a Vito Mauser, I got Mosin, I got my PCC, I got an SKS, I got a freaking 1911 over there. I got all sorts of stuff out here. It's going to take me a minute to clean all this up. You guys go off, have a fantastic day. I'll see you all in the next episode.
Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.